Good morning, and welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football's Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Welcome into the show, everybody. Ryman Lemon first again. Bishop Frank, along with Chicken and Drew. Welcome into the show, folks. Glad to see everybody in here. We're going to have Cody Light in here in just a few minutes. He was having some technical difficulties. But, hey, man, thank you very much for that. Best way to start the morning. Hope everybody's good. Yes, sir. Hope everybody's good. Happy Monday to everybody. Did you wash your hands? I always wash my hands, bro. They're good. Hey, yeah, Hangster, man. I've been wondering where you were. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Remembers, hey, the normie NIL. Hey, man, he's a treat-eating fool. Thank you very much for that. Thanks a lot, Bishop Frank. Welcome in. The gumbo is always fire in here. We'll be jumping into talking about a few different things this morning. Obviously, you still have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people talking about Brent Venables being extended. Let me fix this camera just a second. Being extended on his contract early, and why that is. We'll talk a little bit about why I think it was probably the smartest thing that Oklahoma could have done overall, when you think about it in view of the fact that, you know, Champion Barbecue being this weekend and stuff. We talked a little bit about it the other night, but I wanted to get into it a little bit more. Also, we'll get into some of that Champion Barbecue stuff. Coach Ricks, welcome into the show. Eric Reheard as well. Thank you guys for coming in. Yeah, it was definitely all jacked up. Oh, you know what, though? I'm having some settings issues. Man, this thing is bad. Hold on real quick. Virtual background. Let me take that out of there. There we go. All right. That may be part of it, too. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. Hey, happy Monday. Happy Monday, Eric. Thank you, man. What's up there, Coach Ricks? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, man. Glad to see everybody in here as well. Hey, look, a lot of good things happened over the weekend. I actually got a little, well, we'll talk a little bit about it in a few minutes, but it looks like you're going to have a lot more big-time recruits coming in for Oklahoma off the, you know, the tail of this Champion Barbecue. It's kind of a cheat code from what a lot of people were talking about. I think that when you get a kid like Emmanuel Choice at receiver, you still got an opportunity to get some more big-time gets here in the next over the next month or so, and really all the way leading up into the, into the season and everything else. I think that the way the NIL is kind of changing things, that you kind of have to lock some of these guys in early. I still think, obviously the guys that have the most leverage are offensive, defensive linemen, guys like that. They're going to continue to kind of hold out until the end. But quarterbacks seem to be getting in there earlier. And sounds like you are pretty close to landing probably the number one quarterback in the 2026 class. It appears he's about ready to make his choice and make it known as well. We'll talk a little bit about that because I was watching Jay and them last night on Unfair Sports, the Sooner or Later podcast, which I was excited. It was a good show. Got a couple of things that I kind of think about that, though. I mean, I feel like sometimes, much as I love PG, man, and I give him nothing but credit for the way he is able to connect with these kids on the recruiting trail. They talk to him, they'll tell him stuff, and he has an understanding about a lot of that kind of stuff, and he's able to kind of get a lot of information that I mean, even the quote unquote insiders don't get. Some of the things, though, I think that he speaks in certainties a little much for what is going to happen in the future, particularly, at certain positions and stuff like that, and how he sees that, or how somebody's going to perform versus somebody else, what's going to happen. I think some of that stuff is early to speak on sometimes, and it's one of those deals. I just don't think that it's the right way to go about it. Let's see what we got. Jason, what are your thoughts on NIL being changed again? Well, I'm kind of getting into some of that information on what it is with One Oklahoma, if that's what you're talking about. I would say that's part of. I kind of had to get into what it is now. The way it sounds and what Coop was telling me a little bit earlier is that it is going to be a good thing. What's up there, Mr. Stovall?
Hey, buddy.
What are you doing, man? Good to have you in the show. Welcome in.
Thanks, brother, man. Appreciate the invite. I'm just finagling around with my internet. So,
yeah, having some fun with that.
Oh, yeah,
StreamYard's been giving me hell for the last freaking 3 days, so I don't know what's going on with it, but yeah, there's always little technical difficulties you got to overcome, particularly on a Monday morning. But welcome into Rise and Shine College Football. Good to have you in here. We're just talking a little bit about these NIL changes that are coming. You're starting to see, well, with Oklahoma, they're kind of centralizing the whole thing, from what I understand. With One Oklahoma, it's going to be one thing, one entity, and I mean that. It seems like it streamlines it a little bit. I'm not sure what I feel about it yet, because I want to make sure I know enough about it, to be quite honest with you guys. I mean, you're asking me about that, Stephen G, and I'd love to kind of give you my opinion on it, but I'm not sure what it is yet. So it's, I'll just be real with you guys about that stuff, because I want to make sure that, to me, it almost makes you wonder if they're bringing everything in-house with the NIL because you can or whatever. Now, they are going to be supposedly the first to do it with One Oklahoma, and that's cool. But it kind of makes you wonder, are you with me, Cody? Are you frozen again? It looks like he's frozen. Either that or he's just making a really weird face. All right, I'm gonna pop him out of here for a second. That was weirding me out. All right. Yeah. It's I would agree with you on that, on the IT professional here, though. You can remove Cody Light from his name. Bedlam is dead, but he's always going to be Cody Light. But let's see. Stash's illegitimate kid. Is that what you said there? I love it. Already busting his balls, and he's not even in here anymore. All right. But no, as far as I think streamlining the process and maybe making sure that you have a better handle on it. And the truth is NIL isn't what it's supposed to be. My only concern, I guess, would be that if somebody wants to have, say, I don't know what it does in affecting national deals and stuff like that, or if it takes away their ability to have an agent. I don't know exactly what it does, but it seems like it could run into some issues as far as that goes, with agents and things like that for some of these higher profile players. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's a correct thing, because I don't know. But it is what it is. Hey, you want to call in there, Bishop Freak? Is that what you're saying? I'll let you call in. Hold on real quick. But to me, I do feel like it's probably a good thing for the school, for sure. And I think it'll maybe kind of help you streamline some of that stuff, be able to know where these kids are at, and then be able to know where they're going to get paid and how much they're going to get paid, to where they have more information, which is always a good thing. And that's the one thing that I've been concerned about this whole way, is that I don't think that there's anybody really advocating for these players. Now, at Oklahoma, I'm not overly worried about that because of the way that the program is set up, and the way that these guys care about their players. I think it could, in some places, it could cause some issues with that kind of stuff. But again, I'll kind of get into some of that other stuff as we go through it. I think me and Cooper are going to jump on and do some stuff about that after I jump into it, research a little bit about it, and talk to him a little bit more about it as well. Stukas Cat, what's up, my bro? Mars Jams, welcome in as well. Okay. It appears that Bishop Frank wants to call in, so I'll drop that link in there. Anybody that wants to call in, we can talk about a few things. Let's get into some of this. Man, I'm freezing now. Yeah. Yep. Okay. No. I mean, that's where I think I just want to make sure that the kids are represented outside of the school. If everything's within the school and that's how it's going to work, then that's all good, you know. But it's you know, it all kind of depends on what's hey there. Hey Bishop Frank, what's up, man? Look
What's good?
on camera. What's
Big
up?
salute.
Big salute. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Man, living large and supercharged. You know how we do.
Absolutely. You at work today?
Nah, I'm off today.
Good news. What's up,
Shoot.
man? What do you think?
Shoo. Man, we on fire, you guys. See, all those receipts we kept, and
Yes,
we
sir.
stayed to the grind and kept stacking days. Documentation beat conversation anymore.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you kind of what you thought about that. With all this stuff that I mean, you know, I was on the show the other night and I kind of gave my thoughts about it, but I could give a crap really what Texas people think really. But it didn't even just go that far. I think you had people throughout the country that are wondering, and I guess if you're not close to the situation or you don't pay as close attention to this program and where it was when Lincoln left, then you wouldn't really understand that this has been a quick jump, and he's in a place right now that it looks like they're ready to pounce and go into this thing, as you would say, on fire, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And Jason, the truth of the matter is, think back to that 6th and 7th season, and how everybody it was built up to a boil. But understand, like you said, it had to break because we had to see the roots need to be changed out, and the only way you fix something is from the roots. And so when he was
foundation, it was foundational to that
foundation.
point.
That's
it
right.
Broken down to that point. Absolutely.
That's it. And Coach BB the whole year kept taking the onus and they say, hey, we had to tear it down to the roots. And whenever some adversity hit, he never made excuses. He just said we had to tear it down the roots and we'll benefit from it. And was always looking forward. So once he went through that season, now these young men know that he's going to stand in the gap with them. So now they're ready to run through walls. So now we are coming off a 10-3. Now the stage is set.
Yeah.
And now we in the truest test of them all, SEC, we're ready.
I think they're ready too. I think that, the questions that you have, I mean, and are they really even questions at this point? When you start talking about the offensive line, I think that it was, when I saw it was on the Mainline podcast where they were talking about the differences, how many guys that they had, how many starts were there on the offensive line for, the guys coming in the portal, plus, obviously Jacob Sexton and some of these guys.
Right.
Look, even if some of these guys that are coming in that have so many stars, your Garen Hatchets of the world and say Brown out of Michigan State, you don't necessarily look at them as right away starters, but like Fabici Wiwu, you do, right?
Right.
It seems like he's definitely going to be a starter. Jacob Sexton is the man. He's the guy. I think that, I mean, you keep hearing from a lot of people, but I think Josh McCuistion's a guy that I trust a lot when it comes to evaluation and stuff like that. And he said that this is your next first rounder, that you're going to see going into the league probably. And we saw what he did as a freshman in the Florida State game. I mean, he's up against an All-American guy across from him, and he beat his ass the whole day until he got hurt, So, but yeah, the competitive depth is a big and important thing. But it's just the way that these guys are going about things that it's not as much of a question. I mean, you're starting to hear a lot of these first world problems. We were watching last night. I was watching Unfair Sports with Jay and them, and they're all kind of talking about these recruits. And are we going to have too many here? Are we going to have too many there? Stuff like that. There's no such thing as too many. Here's what it is. And you got to go back and listen to Coach Venables. We're going to recruit guys to replace you.
Absolute. In fact, if nothing else, think about the track record of Coach Saban. All those years, he kept stacking them, even though he already had a room full. No, he's not going to sit on his laurels. He's going to constantly recruit because, understand, he knew iron sharpens iron if you want to go to national titles. Period.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, you have to promote competition every day.
Correct.
You know? And I think it was probably Big Reggie that was in there saying that when they were talking about the quarterback situation, which again, I would say, I love PG and all. PG, you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to who, if Sperry is willing to come in, if he's not willing to come in and compete against this kid, then do you really want him? You know? So that would be my thing about that. And you know, he's saying, well, he's not going to be good enough and blah, blah. Well, you don't even know that. And first off, you don't know what's going to happen in between now and then either. We're going to bring Cody back in too. But I mean, to me, if you're not promoting competition at every day, all the time, no matter what, then you're probably missing out on that. Cody, you know Bishop Frank, or well, you've seen him in the chat room, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, but welcome into the show back. You're still a little fuzzy there, but man, a minute ago you froze up. You had a weird smile on your face, dude.
He had the Joker smile.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, struggling over there, huh? Yeah, man, frozen again, it looks like. But yeah, just I mean, and Cody, I guess I would ask you, what was your thoughts whenever you heard about Venables getting an extension to basically just kind of be restarted on his contract? I mean, they added $400,000 to the contract. It's probably about what it is in inflation, you know, when you start looking at it over the total of a 6-year period. But what was your thoughts on that? Or, I mean, there was a lot of people questioning it, and why would you do such a thing? He's only, 16-10 so far, that kind of stuff. To me, I think it was a smart move in view of the fact that you get a lot of negative recruiting out there, particularly in the SEC, that, hey, he's going to be gone in a couple of years. They're just automatically going to go out there and promote that because you've got people thinking that maybe he isn't a head coach guy or whatever like that, even though he's recruiting the way he is and flipped it around as quick as he did. What were your thoughts on that, though?
My first reactionary thought was it's slightly unnecessary, but I get your point in the landscape of recruiting. You don't want to have any negativity when it comes to, your coaching, but I don't know that he earned an extension per se, but
well, I guess it depends on on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Get it. And it's not like he's in any threat to be poached by somebody else at the moment. So the timing of it is just kind of odd to me, but it is what it is. It did make a lot of sense.
I think you would, saying he's not in a threat to be poached. If you are of the belief in any way whatsoever, now I'm not currently of the belief that I think Dabble's going anywhere at Clemson, right? But in view of the fact that Venables has come in, he has recruited in the top 10 every class so far. He's doing it again now. He's bringing in and doing things at Oklahoma that hadn't been done in a very long time, as far as bringing in classes on the defensive line. Every position group in this defense is, whether it's the front line, linebackers, secondary guys, we're talking about guys that are 4- and 5-star blue chip talent, which is what you kind of have to do in the SEC. You have to build in the trenches, but you got Dabo over there that's not willing to be in the portal whatsoever. Oklahoma is, and Brent Venables is. He's able to adapt to that. If Clemson goes 8-4 again or worse, which I don't know, I mean, it seems like they still have an awful lot of talent where they shouldn't have that problem, right? But then again, if they continue to drop, at some point, if you're Clemson, are you not going to be pushing Dabo out the door? And who's the first person that you would want? They love Brent Venables. I don't hear you. Are you muted? You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know about all that, right? Brent Venables does not align with anything that Clemson does, right?
What does that mean?
He's not the same. What do you mean? What does that mean? He says 73,000 curse words every sentence. There is no Christian moral fiber to that dude, which is why he pretended to be that at Clemson, but yet he bumps his
Cody,
gums.
so now you're showing that you know very little about Brent Venables. Whoa, hold on. Hold on.
Oh, hold on. Run that. What, say that again. I know very little about Brent Venables. Is that what you said?
Apparently, because the guy
Okay,
is.
hey, why don't you go ahead and educate me and you tell me what Clemson does that aligns with Brent Venables? Go ahead. You tell me.
Everything. He was the biggest.
No, Clemson is they're supposed to be like a Christian school, right? They found
No, it's not a Christian school. They have a Christian coach. He's a Christian.
Have you ever heard Dabo Swinney say a cuss word? Have you ever heard Dabo Swinney cuss out his players? No.
Not
what do
in
you
front
hear
of
Brent
anybody.
Venables do every single time he's on the daggone football
Hold on. He
field?
doesn't do that the same way that he used to.
First off, that Brent Venables lines up with Clemson.
Cody.
Get
he was
out
at
of here,
Clemson for 12 freaking years. If he didn't line up at Clemson, and he found his faith while out there, by the way. So apparently you don't know everything you think you know.
You're trying to say Brent.
Have you heard him? Have you seen him at practice screaming and cussing and doing those kind of things? Saying the cuss word doesn't mean you're not a Christian, first of all.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so what?
But when all you're doing is berating people,
that's not what he. What are you talking about?
There's clips out there, homie, of him losing his ever-loving mind on the sidelines with his own players. There's videos of him and Dabo getting into it.
When have you ever heard any of his players ever, whether it was at Oklahoma the first time, whether it was at Clemson, that talked bad about Brent Venables? Tell me that don't love him.
That's not the conversation. Hold on. No, mother trucker, you still haven't told me one thing that aligns him with Clemson.
His faith aligns him with Clemson and that program.
What does?
His
you
faith.
haven't named one thing, dude.
Mission.
One thing.
His faith alone. His faith. They have the soul
mission.
When
did Brent Venables find faith? When did this happen?
When he was at Clemson, it is when he found faith in God. He also, do you not know anything about the soul mission? Clearly you don't. The soul mission where they're recruiting based. Okay.
No, I don't know anything. That's why you brought me on the show, is so you could educate me. So I'm ready to be educated.
I just got to telling you that the soul mission, you don't know what the soul mission is, I guess?
Soul mission of what?
The soul mission is the way that they go about recruiting. It's a lot of faith-based stuff that's within the whole. It's very similar.
Yeah, at Clemson.
No,
at Clemson.
At Oklahoma. Sure. At Oklahoma.
You lie.
No, he's telling the truth, Cody. I could share with you the soul mission is basically
done. He doesn't want to hear it from me. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good, you guys. Hey. I understand a lot of the stuff that Coach Venables is base is out of Clemson, but he took it to a new level with the soul mission, where he's included a lot of different young men that has been in the program before, and a lot of the corporations being able to have internships and making sure that the young men are truly men by the time they get out of here, and being able to have different areas and being able to go to Brazil, there's so many different other places, so that when they get done with here, they'll know the importance of being connected to the community.
Yeah, and it's the same. Yes, of course he adopted it from Clemson, and saying that he doesn't align with Clemson, first off, doesn't even make sense, because he was there for 12 years and he was as big a part of why they won anything over there as anybody was. They love him at Clemson. So the fact that they won 2 national championships, they played for 3 more while he was there, and largely because of that defense, and really the one place that they're not struggling is on defense, because of the guys that are still left over there from their recruiting and what their staff was doing. And obviously he didn't bring the entire defensive staff with him. You know, he brought the guys that he wanted to bring that were definitely going to come with him, guys like Todd Bates and Jeremiah Hall and some of these other guys. But look, I know you don't want to hear, apparently you don't want to hear, but I'm telling you, definitely, the soul mission is a very huge part. It's huge at Oklahoma now. It's very similar. I would even say that a lot of what they've done aligns with what you've seen the softball team do. They're huge fan base as well. People don't want to hear that shit either because of the fact that they celebrate. But anyway, yeah, look, it is what it is, man. The bottom line is that the whole point that I was trying to make is it did make a lot of sense for him to do that. The fact is he went and won 10 games in year 2 when he inherited a bad situation. They have changed they've changed the locker room culture completely as to what it was when Lincoln Riley was here. Completely. Now,
well, Lincoln Riley actually did a decent amount of winning there, buddy. I don't like what Lincoln did to y'all.
Right.
Okay.
I don't believe the way that Lincoln left. I think Lincoln's a big old piece of crap. But if anyone deserved an extension, it would have been him before Brent Venables. That's it.
Oh, really?
The first question was, what do you think about the extension of Brent Venables
out there? Huh? What'd you say?
The first question was, what do you think about the extension of Brent Venables, right? And then you tried to make some correlation that he would be picked up by mother effing Clemson, right? That's how this conversation started.
For sure that would happen.
Ask me my opinion. My opinion was he deserves an extension. He hasn't done anything to get an extension. It does him an extension. Nobody's trying to poach him, so why give him the extension?
I told you, I gave you a reason why. The first reason being that on the recruiting trail part of it, first of all, and knowing that he's going into you're giving Venables the know-how that, hey, we are in agreement with the way that you're running this program. The 6 and 7, first off, to blame him for the 6 and 7 and not Lincoln Riley is asinine, first and foremost, because he didn't inherit that 11-2 team from the year before. That's not what he inherited. You know that. He had to build the thing from the ground up. That's what we were talking about before you came back in. That you saw a program that, yes, it's easy for everybody to talk about the 11-2 team that from the year before that had 2 5-star quarterbacks. Aside from Dylan Gabriel, they didn't have a serviceable quarterback in year 1. They didn't have a guy you could put in, hence why they got blown out in the TCU game and then the next week in Red River. Because when they tried to they ended up putting a freaking tight end in the game to play quarterback because they couldn't get serviceable quarterback play out of anybody else. So they went 6 and 7. They had a 5-1 loss or one score losses, one of them by 3 points. Look, then they flipped it around and they went 10 and 3 the next year. I don't know that that's not doing anything. That's showing that you're going up, that you're moving up. They've out-recruited everybody in the SEC other than Georgia, Alabama, and LSU in his first 3 cycles, and they're right up there with those folks again this cycle. They're in line with what 2 5-star offensive tackles right now that are both, either one of them you could get. You've got another one that you already have committed that will be a 5-star, should be a 5-star, same size, Ryan Foji. They're defensive. They've continued to get studs everywhere at receiver, at secondary, at linebacker, defensive line. They're building where they need to. He got 5 blue chip defensive line guys last season, including David Stone, who was the #1 defensive lineman in the country. So earning it, it's kind of a relative term. You can say that he didn't earn it, but did he? I mean, what? 10 wins isn't in year 2 when you got handed a burning pile of shit, isn't earning it? You don't think that qualified him for, doing anything? Okay. All right.
No, this is the truth of the matter, you guys, is the whole thing is the Regent saw that they were heading in the right direction and they felt like they wanted to reinforce that they got their guy. That was their choice, and I understand this stand of what we're standing on. And fact of the matter is, hey, we never flinch, so that's our choice.
Yeah, I think it's when you're telling. I think it obviously showed that. Yeah, you're our guy. We're not wavering off of this. We're happy with the way that this is direction. Are we where we want to be today? No, we're not where we want to be today. But again, you have people out there that are saying things like what Cody just said about that he hasn't earned anything, he hasn't done anything. He beat Texas that just had their best freaking roster in the last 15 years and went to the playoff, and they beat them. But that's not earning anything. So you've got people that are going to sit there and say shit like that, and especially around in recruiting, that are saying, no, he's not even going to be there in 2 years. Why would you go there? Why would you want to go there? That became a non-issue when they re-upped him, and now he has 6 full years still. That's what it did. So to me,
bro, y'all are delusional. Y'all are delusional if you think that somebody's out there waiting to poach Brent Venables. This is the part that I don't get.
That's not what I just said. Yes. That's not what I just said. I said that you're combating against negative recruiting that says Oklahoma's going to fire him in 2 years. You got to listen to it to know what I'm talking about. You're going to have to hear me out.
So that's why they gave the extension, in your opinion?
That was the first reason. First off, they were showing him that they were committed to him, and it's showing the recruits right before Champ U Barbecue, which is the biggest recruiting weekend of the summer, that you announce that the day before Champ U Barbecue starts. That we're re-upping him. He's here for the long haul. So if there is that negative recruiting going on out there, and there is at some of these other programs that think they're high and mighty in the SEC that are trying to get the same guys that he's beating them for, then you say, you got somebody like Drink over there saying bullshit like that, and they're gonna be like, okay, like he's in a better position.
I'm reading in your comments. A bunch of people are talking about the massive improvements are why Brent Venables got this job, which I don't get, because I'm pretty sure Lincoln Riley was winning Big 12 titles. I'm confused by your peoples.
You had to.
What? Okay, so you're telling me he deserved an extension?
Before me and you have. We've talked about this 1,000 times. He didn't win.
That's why I'm confused. That's why I'm confused right now, dude.
Lincoln didn't win the Big 12 championship his last season at Oklahoma, did he?
No.
You know how many guys were left over from that? They had 8 guys go to the draft when he left. They had another 10 or 15, 20 guys that left either in the portal or graduated. They lost almost half immediately, including 2 5-star quarterbacks the day he left.
So you're saying that he deserves the extension because you beat Texas and because things are better now than they were under Lincoln. That's the justification, correct?
Look at the roster. They're better top to bottom than they were when Lincoln was there. They're still getting 5-star quarterbacks like Jackson Arnold and the guys coming behind them. They're about to get this Gibson kid, and he's a 5-star number 1 in the class for 2026. He's about to pull the trigger and commit. You got Kevin Sperry for the next class, this class coming up. Guys that in another Elite 11 kid. Spin it. He's a really good player. You continue to kill it on offense. In fact, you're out recruiting Lincoln. They've out recruited Lincoln every cycle since he left. And he was going to the quote mecca of college football at USC, in which they go and win a Heisman Trophy for Caleb in the first year, turn around and go 7-5 the next. The only thing that kept him from going 6-0 to 0-6 to end the year was a missed 2-point conversion by Arizona. That's it. So if we're talking about the direction of the programs right now, and I don't know if you noticed, but last week they lost 2 5-star defensive line guys at USC, and Juju Lewis is about to leave his commitment to USC as well. So if we're talking about trajectory for the program, it's clear which one is on the higher and which one is headed up and which one isn't. We're going to talk about Lincoln Riley. You really going to come in here and tell me Lincoln Riley? Oh my God, Cody.
Lincoln Riley, what?
You're going to come in here and talk about Lincoln Riley when he is in a world of hell right now at USC?
Because, guys, you guys are refusing to admit that thus far, Lincoln was a better coach than Brent Venables up to this point. And 2
Lincoln
years into
didn't
their
have
career
to
at
build
OU.
a single thing. All he had to do was
Maybe
just
not.
right. He didn't. No, it's not. Maybe not. He didn't. The team was
again,
left.
We've
in
been
the
talking for
position
30 fucking minutes about this bullshit extension. Is there any?
You're frozen. What? Cody?
Earned it yet?
I didn't hear you, man.
Yeah.
You froze up again. What'd you say?
Yeah.
You said we've been talking 30 minutes, and that's the last thing I heard.
Well, you know what, you guys, the truth of the matter is, OU made a choice, and it's not for others to chime in or not. It's not going to show his worth. He's shown enough to the Regents that they feel that they got their guy, and we know that they got their guy. And understand, it's not about a question. We're just trying to build a foundation of why the choice was made to go ahead and do it.
No doubt. No doubt. No, and that's the whole thing with me. I mean, in the end, I understand why people can think what they want to think about. Why would you extend him right now after just 2 seasons? You haven't even seen what he's going to do his first year in the SEC. Okay. But if you're paying attention to what the recruiting is and everything else that's going on here, then you can definitely understand why he did it. And again, the recruiting side of it is enough alone. Just on I think it was a genius move to do it on the eve of Champion Barbecue, because whatever those guys that you're competing with other big programs in the SEC for now they don't have to worry about whether or not he's going to be here or not. He's going to be here. That was them committing to Brent Venables. So we'll move on from that conversation because, you know, it is what it is, man. What is this? Who said what? What are you talking about? Benji? Lincoln had 2 Heisman winners on the roster and 2 elite O-line. Stop. Yeah, you're definitely catching hell in here. Let's see. Coach Ricks, thanks for the super chat. BV left a lot of fellowship programs at Clemson when he left. My brother-in-law helps with one of them. Yep, he was in charge of a lot of that stuff. That's a lot of that it is facts. It's not information that obviously he understood. Yeah, and the money is not even a bit. To be honest with you, if you're thinking about what it is, they added $400,000 to the entirety of the contract, which is over a 6-year deal, is nothing. You know, so I would say when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's not even about the money so much. This was a clear indication of what the school felt about, not just the direction that they're headed in, but also I think it was a smart move on the part of Castiglione. But again, I understand where, you know, I can understand that you would have questions if you're looking at it from the outside and you're still thinking that Lincoln Riley was that guy. I think that he's proven what he really was whenever he has to actually do something with his own program instead of just getting a ready-made, you know, juggernaut there. But it is what it is. Let's talk a little bit about. Well, you missed the snap count Saturday night. Were you at baseball or what was up with that? Were you at baseball the other night?
Boy was throwing a no-no, baby.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Throwing a no-no. That's awesome. Good, man. You said he'd been struggling.
Third no-hitter. That's his third no-hitter this year.
Nice. I know he was going through some struggles there for a little while, so it's good to see that, or good to hear that he's back on track.
Yeah, you know, there's a big difference between being the Friday night guy and the main ace Saturday, right? And he had a few games where he got kicked in the teeth a little bit, but we went back to the drawing board and he got it back on track. Now, throwing a no-no the other day, he should have thrown a no-hitter, right? The team we were playing was trash, but you still have to go out and do it, right? You got to get everybody out. So Yeah, it was a fun night. We went out to eat. It was a good time. Yeah, sorry I missed the ACC show. My only contribution would have been basically just giving people a hard time on which ACC schools are about to join the Big 12. So,
yeah, well, and I guess that would kind of be, we could get into the Big 12 a little bit there, and talk a little bit about that. But I mean, where do you feel like is going to happen there, and what do you? I mean, is this coming sooner than, or in your opinion, is this coming sooner than later, where you're going to have, you know, I guess Florida State and Clemson are obviously trying to jump ship and get into the other conferences. My question about those two is, I know if you're going to go to the Big Ten, don't you have to be AAU and all that kind of stuff? So that it doesn't seem like it's an AAU thing, and the SEC is not really looking to expand right now. So I don't really see how they're going anywhere, and I'm not positive that they're going to get out of this deal with the ACC either, because that grant of rights is like, you know, it depends on who you're asking, I guess, but I don't know. What are you hearing lately on that?
I mean, it still feels like an inevitability. You know what I mean? The lawsuit section of things, I think, isn't the broad view. I think the broad view is the fact that there's several teams in the conference that are not happy. They don't like the contract. They don't like the unwillingness, you know, to renegotiate. They don't like the unwillingness on some of the TV providers, right? We've heard some discrepancies between ESPN and Fox, one of them not wanting to be super involved, or so on and so forth. It just seems like there's just so many issues in the ACC that the last thing that they're having is solidification. And with this new news about the, you know, capital investment market that Brett Yormark's looking at from a financial perspective, if he does go down that route, it makes us more financially secure than the ACC will ever be. So it kind of feels like if the Big 12 makes this move and they go with the private equity company for a 20% share, financially, that's going to put the ACC so far behind the 8 ball that they're not going to have much of a choice. Now, I don't think that there's a massive amount of disillusionment here. I don't think we're going to gobble up Florida State and Clemson and North Carolina. I do think that your Florida States and your North Carolinas and your Miamis, for the most part, are probably going to be divvied up between the SEC and the Big Ten. But I do think it's beyond, you know, plausible that we get Pitt, Louisville, NC State, right? Teams like that. So
sure,
if they
come all the way apart, I can see that happening. I tend to wonder if they're really going to come all the way apart, but because I don't know, it seems a little odd. But I mean, it just, because there's, again, I don't think that there's a big demand in either conference for anybody outside of like 4 programs, right? You know what I mean? There's not a huge demand in the Big Ten or the SEC for anybody. I mean, in fact, the SEC doesn't really want to expand right now at all. And from what I understand, the Big Ten doesn't really care to, unless either one of them would immediately take Notre Dame in a heartbeat, because it's Notre Dame, you know, being the brand that it is. But I don't think that, aside from Notre Dame, they don't really care to move at all. And that includes for Clemson and Florida State. I think that their opportunities to join the SEC were a while ago, you know. So I don't know that that's something that they're really looking to do at the moment. Now, yeah, can we take a minute and give Bishop Frank some love for looking so fresh and so clean? always. Yeah. But no, I would tell you that I tend to agree with what you're talking about. And I think that if you're the Big 12, you're certainly in a situation where you're prepared and ready. I think you're frozen again there, Cody. Are you? Hey man, maybe try it later whenever you get better internet.
Yeah.
Go ahead and kick him from there.
Nothing like a good old bowl of gumbo.
Ooh,
start your morning.
You got us fired up on a Monday. On a damn Monday. Man, I don't know. Honestly, we were on the phone before the stream started, and I didn't feel that one coming. No, he's actually Cody's. He lives in Colorado. He lives in Colorado.
Oh yeah, Gotcha.
He's in Colorado Springs, so I don't know exactly what's going on there, but it'll only be 2 power conferences when said and done. Trust me, I don't disagree with that necessarily. I think that when that happens, you kind of end up with it. What's going to end up if it goes to that? Then it probably they break it into divisions and it becomes the same as it always was before with the Big 12 or the Big 8 and the Southwest Conference and all that kind of stuff, because they'll go back to a regional type of deal where it kind of goes. But the more things change, the more they get the same again. So one thing that's always something that I've thought about with realignment and stuff. And I would tell you that I don't really see the realignment stuff happening in a heartbeat. I think in a couple of years, whenever they do decide to do whatever they're going to do with the college football playoff. But again, I don't think that the SEC so much wants to expand at all. I think that they're good with where they are. And look, at the moment, the SEC and the Big Ten have the rest of the country by the short and curlies, period. They can do whatever they want, and they get the lion's share of the money. Why would you want to make, you're not going to want to cut off a piece of the pie for these other programs when there's not any more pie right now. If it changes, it'll be whenever it's contract time again, is what I think. I don't see that really happening today. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Okie Light fans caring about BV's wallet and career. If you start thinking, it surprises me because usually Cody, I thought that I've never heard of him really speak this way about Brent Venables. And I've never really heard him praise Lincoln Riley either, but which is funny at this time. I mean, especially right now, whenever you're to praise Lincoln, and I don't even want to get here into this so much, but to praise Lincoln Riley right now of all times, to go on let's talk about how good he was. It's clear that what he was hanging onto the coattails of what was left behind. And every year the program, as Ryman Lehman was saying, got worse. It got worse. It got smaller and less able to stand up to the rigors of what you would deal with even in one game against an SEC powerhouse, much less. And which is clear whenever he doesn't want to play the SEC either. Right now, he just canceled his deal with the games that they were going to have with Ole Miss, and he's been trying to get out of the LSU game since he got to SC. So, shocker that he's not doing well out there. And the recruits don't. You're trying to recruit in SEC country, but getting rid of games in SEC country that their parents would be able to easily get to see him play in. It just make sense. Make it make sense, Hey,
the truth of the matter, Jason, and Barbershop family, the truth of the matter is he was an excellent OC, but was he truly prepared and ready to become a head coach? And did he have all the tools in his toolbox to be able to be successful? Because what we're starting to see is the fabric of his foundation when you don't have it set up for you.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. No, and that's the whole point that I was making, and I've said this a few times before as well. If you think about it, when Mike Leach passed away, who's he got left to be a mentor to him? We talked about this whenever you and I talked last week on the phone. When he passed away, now who's gonna mentor him? There's really nobody out there anymore because he burned all the bridges to Oklahoma on his way out of here. And who else is out there? Who else does he have to look up to ask? Obviously, Pete Carroll and USC are not on good terms right now, so you don't have that. And plus, he doesn't do things like they would do it, and he doesn't really need that help. But to me, it was a weird thing when I think that the defensive coaches that he got are good. I think he did a great job.
Oh, absolutely.
But you went halfway and didn't get rid of Benny Wiley. You didn't finish the job and get a new offensive line coach, which they talk about the offensive line there all the time. And you didn't get rid of Benny Wiley. And we're hearing again, how, like we heard last year from Tim Prangley, how stick's not a stick anymore. They're getting bigger. Okay. Yeah, I'll bet. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they are.
It's funny because understand they can tell themselves that, but when you start playing the game and you have to go week after week in the Big Ten, documentation beat conversation. You can't just talk it up. You got to be about it. So, hey,
Cowpoke Ranch, she says, "Morning, little brother. You'll be tall enough to ride some of the rides down at the county fair. Hope y'all had a great weekend." Oh, are you coming here? You did a super chat so you could talk some smack to me there, Cowpoke Ranch. Lord have mercy.
hey,
That's funny.
we accept all love. Makes the gumbo perfect.
We're good with the money. You can talk your little smack, but the little brother stuff, that's funny.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Let's see.
Truly a barbershop.
If Stoops was head coach in 2017, OU goes undefeated and wins the title. No, I don't doubt that. I think that they were undefeated. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, it doesn't really matter if they go undefeated. If they just get to where they get to, which is the Rose Bowl, then yes, I think that if he's coaching that game, they win. And then I think that they were good. And I've even heard Alabama fans in the last week that have admitted the same way. Yeah, they were the best team. Oklahoma would have won that one, and they should have. There's no guarantees in life, but I get what you're saying, Keaton. That stand on that hill. I would. Listen, I was in the Rose Bowl that night. The better team lost.
Yeah,
the better team.
Well, I don't understand why we do an onside kick, but that's just to stir the pot a little bit.
But the thing about that, I mean, that really was. I mean, that changed momentum.
That's what I mean.
But yeah, and it didn't make a lot of sense. But when you give a team like Georgia and their running back room was ridiculous with Michelle and Chubbs, I mean, they were ridiculous. But
yeah,
I would say that being in the stadium, you could kind of feel the air come out of Oklahoma at that moment when they did that squib kick. The squib kick was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, not only that, you think about the momentum they had built up until then.
Yeah.
Then to do something like that.
At the moment. They're up 21 at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, it was brutal.
But that and with Coach Riley making a decision to all of a sudden sit on the league and coast, you can't do that when you're in a championship type of game. You got to keep metal pressed to the floor. So didn't understand it because he could have really helped our defense, because it just seemed like after that it got real stagnant.
Yeah, the Schmitty. I think I'm kind of with what Keaton said here. When you remove Schmitty, it made zero sense.
Oh, no doubt. Can we give an amen on that one? That would mean none.
And
none.
I mean, you've heard what guys have said. I mean, we can sit here and say whatever we want. Looking at it, you can see the differences in the size of the roster. That you
Correct.
just go kid to kid, and you can see the differences. But and it's easy to blame all of it on Mike Stoops, which I don't think he's definitely not the coach that either one of his brothers are. I'm going to say that because I feel that way. And he looked a lot better when BV was around, but it's hard to really blame too much of that on him because they were not in a position where they were getting the same type of players. And if you're not focused on it whatsoever, and no matter what he was saying, he really wasn't. What he wanted to do was, again, like what we were talking about with Coop. If you look at Lincoln, what he knew to do, it's like I said, he didn't have mentors aside from Texas Tech, ECU, Washington State type of guys. Right. They're not running a blue blood program. They're not running Oklahoma. They're not running USC. Nobody gave Mike Leach a USC or an Oklahoma to run. And he didn't stay at OU with Stoops long enough to understand how to run one either. He got a job right away. 1 year, gone. The year two, it wasn't him anymore. So that's the whole deal, is that you can win. You can take a program like Tech, and with those, I think it was what we were talking about the other night, and Coach was talking about it.
Right.
That whether it be the triple option or the spread was definitely an equalizer for programs that don't get the big nasties that are all NFL talent guys.
Right.
Your non-Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia types, LSU, USC back in the day. That's not what USC is anymore. It's Texas Tech West. And it was Texas Tech North up here. And it's fine to run that offense because of the explosive, and the kids are learning that at an early age these days. It's definitely, I think that the fact that they don't have Mike Leach in the Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, is absolutely asinine. Because along with Hal Mumme, but Hal Mumme's nowhere close as far as like record is concerned to be able to get in. But they changed the game of college football. You know? And it changed the way the game is played, and it also changed the way the game is played at the lower levels too. That these kids in 7-on-7 and all this other stuff that they do now, you've got polished quarterbacks. It's even changing the league as well. That they throw the ball way more now than they ever used to. I mean, I remember growing up that it was a running league still in the NFL. Running backs were still going in the top 5 all the time because it was a running back league. You had a good quarterback was important, but Emmitt Smith was important. Barry Sanders was important, you know, where Eric Dickerson, guys like that. The running backs were very important to what was going on. By the time AD went, and he went early and everything, and I'm not saying running backs aren't important anymore. Don't catch the wrong meaning here, but this is now a receiver league and a quarterback league. And these guys are more polished and ready to do that than ever before. And that's because of Mike Leach and what he did. But who's winning championships at the college level? The teams that are still balanced and play defense. And that's never going to be Lincoln Riley. Even if you got a great defensive staff, I don't see how you do it unless you change your philosophy on how you play offense. I think that Seth Luttrell being a heavy run guy out of the air raid is great. I think it's great because you're going to have to do it. You got to take some time off the clock. You got to take the air out of the ball sometimes and give your defense time to recoup itself.
Yeah. And what I wanted to do is piggyback.
Score on every drive. You don't have to do that.
Right.
Take some time.
Yeah. What I was going to do is just piggyback off of what you're saying. What you were saying earlier, that's what the difference is being able to make the necessary adjustments, having a coaching staff that understands there's ebbs and flow of the game, and making the necessary adjustments when it needs to be to make sure you understand to keep the balance of the game moving forward and your momentum moving forward.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, Coach Ricks, and as far as Cody goes, I mean, I love Cody to death, but that's literally the first time I've ever heard him talk like that. First time I've ever heard him talk like that. Because I think, but I would tell you that he knows a lot more about Oklahoma State and what they're doing, and the Big 12 for that matter, you know. But hey, listen, it's just the same as a lot of these. It's the same as a lot of these Texas guys, man. They can't allow their hatred gets in the way of what you see. If you can sit there as a Texas fan and tell me that you're not, and try to tell me that you're not worried about Oklahoma, you're lying through your teeth. And if Cody and we've had this talk plenty of times, and he knows how I feel about it. They ran from the Bedlam game, ran from it. Mike Gundy wanted zero to do with Oklahoma anymore. He just won his 4th time in 20 years at the school. He just won his 4th game against them and got it pretty much handed to him, by the way. But he don't want to do that moving forward. I think that as much as they think that it's helping them, as much as they think that it's going to help them in recruiting, and it may be today, but I don't think it continues to be very helpful in recruiting.
Right.
I don't think it does. I think that when you're having to recruit against an SEC school in your own state and you don't even play them, you better win. They better win and get to multiple playoffs. And they think that they're going to do that right now. I tend to think they're not.
So I got a question, Jason. now that we have two different resumes to look from, the reason that the Regency made the decision to extend BV is because they know they have a full-fledged team that is SEC ready, not just the offense. They see the proof in the pudding that he was willing to stand on business and that he moved it forward. Not only that, that he got the young man to believe in his foundation. And when they played last year, they played with their hair on fire, like they deserve to win it all. So now that they see that, they just want to invest because you're doing the long game. You see where championships are coming.
Yeah.
So if they can't see it, that's okay. We keep all receipts.
Hey, numbnuts, you're not doing this. You're not doing this today. You're not going to go out there and throw up conference stuff like that. That's not happening, bro. Not happening. No, and I think that what Stink says here, Tebow helped them recruiting by not taking Oklahoma high school players. OSU got a bunch of them at that time. That's absolutely correct.
That's
absolutely
true.
Correct. As soon as Venables got here, he's locked down the state. The best players in the state are going to Oklahoma again. If Coach V wants them, they're going to OU, not Oklahoma State. Period.
And that's why Okie Light was mad.
Sure.
Keep all receipts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not going to do that. He did put a stop to it. Absolutely. What's up there, T Boomer? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, guys. And actually, that's the whole thing is, and when you start talking about, look, I'm not saying that I think Texas is in a better position than it's been in at any time aside from when Mac was there. Period. There's no two ways around that. But when you see them that they're really leaning into this Lamborghini thing, man. I saw a second week in a row, big weekend or third weekend in a row, big recruiting weekend there, and that's how they're trying to win their recruits is with taking them for rides in the freaking Lamborghinis, having them parked out there outside DKR when they get there. It's so lame. It's such a lame way to go about it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. Trojan Fight, what's up, dude? Good to see you.
Well, Jason, the truth of the matter is, you think about it. Are they built on relationships with the families?
Again, you're making. You know what? You want to ask about this, Benji? Back to the Lambo thing. They're an official sponsor. An official sponsor of what? They're enticing players to come with. It's just the same. It's all about NIL. It's less about winning and development. It's all about what we're going to give you to come here. And that's not it. Venables is telling you how hard it's going to be to play at Oklahoma. That it's going to, if you're not okay with this being the hardest thing you've ever done, then don't come here.
Correct.
They're telling you, come here and you're going to get all the that you would get if you are an NFL first team, all NFL guy. And you're a high school kid. You haven't done shit yet. Excuse my language, but you haven't. That's not how they're going to play. You have to play the NIL game. And I'm not saying Oklahoma's not playing the NIL game. Matter of fact, with this one Oklahoma thing, I think it's going to be like that. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm telling you, don't say that it's not happening at all, Ben. Don't try that here. Don't do it. We know better. They just put those things out there for nothing. They just got 10 of them out there for nothing. Come on. And they talked about Oklahoma buying Dominic Williams and overpaying for Dominic Williams. And then they do shit like that. Come on. Let's be real.
Oh, man.
If a Lambo is what sells a kid and the deciding factor, they don't have their priorities straight. Granted, they're kids, but exactly. If they're not that, dude. if they're not willing to come in and be, if you haven't already built that relationship with them,
Yeah.
whatever you're giving them doesn't matter. If all you're trying to do is get mercenaries, you're going to succeed. They are succeeding in that. They're doing fine in the portal and getting a bunch of guys. Sark can get offensive dudes in the portal. They're struggling in the defensive portal though. They got a couple of guys. The defensive line is going to be a problem, particularly when your secondary wasn't that good, and it doesn't look like it's a whole lot better according to the spring game. Arch Manning out there throwing for 500 yards on like 3 passes. Good grief. Look, I just scared of Texas because of the Lambos. No. I love it that you do the Lambo thing. I think it's awesome.
Well, let's
Why are we getting the mercenaries while OU's getting the lunch pill guys? Because that's how it always has been. That's how it always has been. OU goes after the lunch pill guys. Texas goes after Flash. It's how it is. Facts. You don't have to like it, but it's the truth. I don't know.
Beautiful. And I understand, you guys, the truth on the matter is we got a portfolio, because we're not just giving them the glitz and glam, but we're also adding the soul mission. And those two together are really catching the eyes of the parents. And the parents want us. Go ahead.
If the question is development, though, what are you questioning if it's a defensive guy? If we're talking about that, what is your question? Because they didn't start getting 5-star guys at Clemson until they had already won a national championship. Isaiah Simmons was a 3-star, not even a high 3-star. He was a 3-star guy that they identified, developed into a top 5 draft pick. What was the year before they left, the 2020, they had 3 guys in the first round off the D line alone from their second national championship team. They weren't all 5 stars either. The bottom line is the development, what you have to show for development is right there in front of you of what they did before and what they're recreating at OU. That was the weird thing about what Cody said, was that he was talking about what connection do these have to Clemson? Shit, he was only there 12 years. What do you mean? What do you mean? What does he have? What connection does he have to Clemson? I'm not even saying that Dabo's going anywhere, because they owe him $60 million. I don't see that really happening right away, unless he decides to leave. I don't really see that. But and I don't think that BV would just jump and go to Clemson either. I think that Oklahoma was the job that he wanted, and I don't think that he wants to go anywhere. So I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they wouldn't try to come get him and that they can't afford whatever the price tag would be at Clemson, because they could. But I think that what he's doing here is what he's doing, and he believes in what he's doing here. I don't see him going anywhere necessarily. But to me, I think the whole weird deal.
Yeah, I think BV is planning. Not only that, he's getting to build it the way he always wanted to build a actual organization, and where he's bringing in young men, and when they get out of here, they are truly leaders with character. Yep.
Right. And you could say whatever. I mean, the people that want to bring up what happened with, first off, Deion Burks just got here, and Makari Vickers with what I mean. Look, man, kids drink in college. That happens. I'm not saying it's okay to get behind the wheel, because it isn't. Thankfully, first off, Noah Makari Vickers' dad, that shit ain't gonna cut it.
He probably telling Smitty, "Hey, put a little extra."
Oh yeah, well, and that too. But Cody's back. Cody,
okay, come on in.
Did you fix it? Is it fixed this time?
Yeah, I lost my shit a little bit, so I got a couple free weeks.
Of the internet?
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Oh, you freaked out on them?
Yeah, dude. I did lose because I'm paying for 2 different services. You know what I mean? And
I didn't know that.
All right.
Yeah. So I use one. I pay for one internet just for down here in the studio, and then we pay for the internet for the rest of the house. So me
So
having
that
my
you
own
don't have that
designated.
issue. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but what was happening was it got disconnected from the router, so it kept connecting me up to the living room, and it kept going back and forth. That's why it kept kicking me.
Oh no.
So I'm good now. I have a recruiting show in like 15 minutes, but I did want to jump on.
Yeah, give me your. Let's do this. Let's talk the Big 12 for a second. Tell me.
Okay.
Obviously, I know that you, with having the amount of guys coming back, you got what, 21 seniors or something like that, or guys that have already been starters that are coming back to the program, correct?
Yeah, 21 returning starters and like 36 seniors.
Right. Now we talked about this last week when you were on the show. Obviously there's a stretch there that Oklahoma State goes through that it's a tough go of it, starting off with Kansas State or Utah, and then you got Kansas State. But you're catching the other perceived contenders in the conference early on. Who do you, aside from OSU, I know you believe in what they're going to do there. Aside from them, who's the team that is really, that you think is the best contender aside from OSU?
I think if they stay healthy, it's KU. I think Jalen Daniels is the best quarterback in the Big 12 when he's fully healthy. I think he is above Shedeur Sanders. And then secondarily, right, their running back room is very impressive.
They have a great room, yeah, I like it.
Right, Devin Neal, and then you've got Hightower, you've got some other capable backs back there. You got the transfer in from Minnesota. And then on the defensive side of the ball, right, they return a decent amount. They've got Tommy coming back at defensive tackle. He's up to like 325 or something to that effect, right? And I know he's lifting a significant amount because his dad's the photographer for the 7on7 company. So I get to talk about KU football a lot, right? And they're very excited. Now, they're obviously very well aware that without having been at their services anymore, that if Jalen Daniels goes down, right, that's a big
they got a freshman behind him, right? It's a true freshman.
Well, no, they got Cole Ballard still.
Ballard.
Yeah.
Very little.
But in the very little we saw Cole Ballard, I don't know that it gave you the warm and fuzzies on him being right the future. So if fully healthy, I think it's definitely KU. Now, outside of KU, right, Kansas State is going to be good. They return a lot of guys. They've got the running back from Colorado to go next to DJ Giddens. So they're going to have one of the best combos in the backfield. Defensively, that we know what they're going to be for the most part up front. In the secondary, they're going to have some questions, which will make it pretty interesting. A lot of people are leaning on the fact that Avery Johnson, the mobile quarterback that runs a 4.40, is going to add so many layers that it catapults them in certain areas. And then, of course, Utah
probably got a better receiver room than I've seen at KSU in a long time.
Well, if we're going to talk about receivers, guys, I don't think you can look outside of Iowa State. They've got Noel. They've got two of the top receivers, 2 of the top 5 receivers coming back in the conference. And then the ACOC defense has never really been in question, right? That version of the 3-3-5 has kind of been the gold standard for a long time. They also return 20 returning starters. So Iowa State, Oklahoma State, KU, they're the teams that return the most. And then you have Arizona with Noah Fafita and Tatorio McMillian. They definitely have a couple of Heisman contenders up front that should make them very, very viable in this race. My question with Arizona is, yes, you return 90% of your talent. That is very, very, very good. But you also replace 100% of your coaching staff all the way 100%. Down to the nutrition guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know that Arizona.
They did lose some key pieces off of the O-line. They lost some key pieces off of the D-line.
Arizona?
Yes.
Yeah, I just I really think it's going to be KU, and then that battle between K-State, Iowa State, Utah is going to be pretty intriguing. I'm sure that's going to rile up some Utah fans.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Now Utah, a lot of folks around the country, and listen, you know how I think about Whittingham. I think Coach Witt is one of the best coaches of all in the country, period.
Yeah.
I think that if Cam plays, my thing is that, and it's kind of a different take, but I feel like Cam needs to be there for them to win. He doesn't have to win every game for them if he's there and stays healthy, right? The way that they do things, they're going to run the ball. They're going to play good defense. That's how they're going to beat you. I don't know that whoever they have behind him now, since they lost the other guys to the portal, I don't know who that is. So I would worry if he's not healthy enough to be even kind of the old Cam. That would be a concern for me with them. That's really all that it concerns me with them. But I do like Kansas a lot. My thing is I like K-State probably more, and I really like Iowa State too. The dark horse team though, and I think UCF is starting to probably put together a roster that's dangerous for the Big 12.
Oh, I agree. I just I don't have a lot of faith in Gus Malzahn when it comes to decision making and big games.
Well, it's that.
But it's the same hard time I've given to Mike Gundy, right? Decision making in the fourth quarters of tight games sometimes has been pretty odd. Gus Malzahn does the same thing, right? He calls punts at odd times. He kicks the ball to the other team with under 2 minutes left, down by 3. He does things mismanagement wise that I feel like counterbalances some of the talent.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never been a huge Gus Malzahn. Far be it from me to take up for the guy.
Yeah.
Talent's important though.
Well, I don't think. Do you think
rich state? I think that, and I like KJ Jefferson, and his offense fits KJ Jefferson very well. By the way,
well, that was my question. Do you think KJ Jefferson is better than John Rice Plumlee? Because I don't.
I do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't. I think that KJ can throw the ball. I don't think John Rice Plumlee could throw to feed starving birds. He couldn't do it. But I like Plumlee as an athlete, stud. You know what I mean? And he's going to put you in. But I also think that athletically speaking, KJ's on another level there too. He's a big guy, big arm. He's not as fast as John Rice Plumlee, but when you talk about, just a pure, flat out athlete, they mishandled and mismanaged what was going on there the last couple of years at Arkansas. I didn't think that. In fact, I thought that Kendall Briles was terrible for him the year that he was there, right? And they didn't do a whole lot better last year with him. To me, I like KJ Jefferson. I think he's a hell of a player. I think that it's hard to really see that all the time whenever you're at Arkansas and it's going the way that it was going. They also lost Rocket Sanders. You know what I mean? He didn't play most of the last year because of an injury. Their offensive line wasn't very good. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to blame it on KJ. I think that for what his skill set is, I think Gus will do a good job with him. And again, I'm not a huge Gus Malzahn guy as far as I think it's a gimmicky, weird little offense and stuff, but he puts up points with it all the time. They didn't climb all the way to the mountaintop with him as head coach at Auburn, but they were pretty good most of the time. I think that in the end, you're going to have enough athletes there that they're going to be I just think that it's kind of one of those dark horse teams. Where are you at on Texas Tech? And I'll let you get out of here. Are they ready to finally take that step that everybody's been saying they're going to take under Joey McGuire?
I don't know that they're necessarily ready to take that step, right? That seems to be the prevailing theme when it comes to Texas Tech is when are they going to take that next step? I do think they're going to be better. And I'm a firm believer in Baron Morton. I think Baron Morton is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the conference. I've been big on Baron Morton for quite some time now. I just don't know that they have enough depth pieces yet to be super competitive. I view them somewhat like I do Colorado. They've definitely got enough talent to jump up and knock some teams off. They're going to do that. But they also, due to wars of attrition, I don't know that they have enough in the back end because say what you want about the Big 12. The one thing we do know about the Big 12 is you're going to beat the tar out of each other, right? So the end of the season, you're probably not going to be operating any higher than 80%.
Well, Malzahn talked about that whenever he was talking. Rhett Lashley was talking about it from SMU that Malzahn's one of his mentors, and he was like, he underestimated the amount of depth they were going to have to get through a Big 12 season. And that was before there were 16 teams.
Kalani Sitake mentioned it when they played
Same
Baylor
thing.
3 years ago and lost. He said, we have to get much, much bigger in the trenches before we, make this transition to the Big 12. And then they focused on that, made the transition to the Big 12, and it still wasn't enough, which is why I'm not super sold on BYU this year, because they didn't really do much in the transfer portal.
They have a quarterback.
They weren't very
problem.
aggressive.
No.
They didn't try to fill very many holes. So I just I don't
even
know
heard.
BYU.
I've heard Bomber not being very optimistic about him too, which is unusual for him. So yeah, I would agree. I would agree that I think BYU is still kind of in a holding pattern, if anything. I think I like Kalani. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league, but I think that they're behind the 8 ball right now when it comes to recruits.
I think
and depth.
Colorado and Texas Tech are both, going to be hovering around 6-ish win ball clubs, maybe 7 win ball clubs, but they're going to have a couple upsets, right? They're going to beat an Oklahoma State or a Utah or a Kansas State. It's going to happen.
They're going to ruin somebody else's championship run.
Right.
Yep.
I get that.
Okay.
I could agree with that. And yeah, so who now obviously if Daniels is not healthy, which we haven't really seen him play in a year for the most part. He played very little last year before he got hurt. And seeing him at Big 12 Media Days and he's a stud. But you got to stay healthy and you got to keep yourself out of positions to get hurt. And
I know
to me, even if Colorado, people were saying in here, how bad are they going to be? I don't think that they're that bad. I know that, we like to move the goalposts with Colorado because of what they, where they started and where they ended last year. But I would tell you that Shedeur Sanders is the real deal. And they have plenty of talent when it comes to skill guys, right? My question would be what they're going to do with Hunter. I don't think you can't be playing the kid 100 snaps a game and expect him to stay healthy. I think he's probably one of the better players in college football. If you keep Shedeur upright, they're definitely going to be one of those teams that's going to hurt somebody else's playoff run. I don't see them getting further up than like 4th or 5th in the league, but I don't see them winning the conference in any stretch. But I think that they could definitely play spoiler. Probably even a little more so than I think Tech can, just because of their talent at the skill positions. I'm not sold on Tech, man. To me, I like Joey McGuire a lot. I don't think that they've got it there yet. I don't.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a big believer in Baron Morton. And obviously you got to respect.
I think Tyler Shuck was a better talent, but he wasn't. But he's never healthy, so that didn't matter. You should have just went with Barron before, right?
Agreed. Yes. Yep. Yeah, but he's had some health concerns too. So it's going to be interesting. Now, and again, to circle back around before I skedaddle on off here, that is one of the reasons that I am high on Oklahoma State is because if you talk about a lot of these teams, the differentiation between their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback is the biggest glaring concern, right? Colorado, if Shedeur goes down, well, what happens, right? If Utah, Cam Rising goes down, what happens?
If the starter goes down at Okie Light?
I'm not hoping, but if our starter does go down, I do know that we're in a position where we're not going to notice any differences.
I think I'd be asking for it. Bowman ain't the cat, dude. That's where I think that if you were to play any of the other guys, I think you're better off. I just think you've seen what you can get from Bowman, and that's about it.
He's improved a little bit. He's improved a little bit. We'll see if it's enough. But I love you, buddy. I'm glad you let me get back on here, but I got to skedaddle.
Appreciate you, man. Talk to you
later. Appreciate you.
Bishop, appreciate you, Bob.
Big salute. Appreciate
you. Later, fellas.
Later. All right. Sanders holds the ball too long at C. There's more to it. He was holding the ball because I think that they kept him in the damn pocket too much. They should have let him run more. They should have. The guy ran a freaking 4.4, 4.3 guy.
Yeah.
Why are you not? I understand that Dion doesn't like him running too much because it'll get you hurt. And believe me, we were talking about Jalen Daniels. that's what they need to do with him is try to keep him in the pocket and within the play. Like what Neilio was talking about, said he actually he attended Illinois at KU last fall. It sure looked as if Daniels knew the Friday night Fox cameras were on him and tried way too much. Got himself hurt. Well, and you look at Illinois, like that's a defense first, smack you in the mouth type of football team that's going to set the edge, and they're going to play good along the defensive line because we're talking about that's a Brett Bielema team. They don't give a crap about throwing the ball. He may not put the ball in the air one time because he's going to play defense. That's what they do. So yeah, that's you can't be that dude. You definitely, but I think when you have a guy that is capable of running like Shador is, and you chain him to the pocket, that's also not good either because they got him sacked 50 times last year. But I would tell you, 3 interceptions, 27 touchdowns, guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
He played at Texas last year, Benji. You win the national championship easily. He's way better than freaking Quinn Ewers. Way better.
Yeah. And to throw in that they got Phil Loho that's going in to help with that.
They've added some pieces there, and they should be better there. Yeah, they should be better. I don't think they're going to be good. I don't think you can do what they're doing in the portal and put enough depth in there and not. It's too mercenary stuff, man. That's why I still don't believe that much in Ole Miss, and I'm questioning what we're going to get out of Ohio State. We're hearing a lot of stuff about Ohio State maybe playing Caleb Downs on offense a little bit. It's kind of weird. And you heard Urban Meyer talking the other day about this might be the best roster in history at Ohio State. If I'm Ryan Day, I'm like, oh, thanks a lot, coach. Turn up the heat on me. Dang. The heat's already up on Ryan Day. It doesn't matter. But what isn't that wild?
Crazy.
Wild, dude. It's crazy. Crazy. I think they'll be better on that line.
I like the merch up there. Nice.
You like it? Yeah. Hey guys, y'all gotta check this out. Actually, let me pop that up there real quick. I'll pop it over the top there. But we have our competitive depth gear. Trojan Fight. You don't want none of this, but Oklahoma versus the world. Our competitive depth, and actually we have a different one on the competitive depth too. That is actually it's got red Solo cups instead of the beer glasses behind them as well. So red Solo cups, you can get them in all the colors. A lot of horns down gear there as well. The horns down stuff is only available for a limited time though. So you got to, if you're going to want one of them hats, you should probably jump in there and get that. It's hofmedia.us/pod-merch, as you see there on the screen. Jump in there, check out a lot of that gear. We've actually had some sales the last few. Honestly, we've had more sales in the last week from our pod merch store than we've had in the last year. Believe it or not. So pretty cool stuff, man. Yeah. So get up there and check all that stuff out. You actually have the four-peat gear as well. Some of the designs that I came up with there. I didn't want to infringe on any OU styles there. Right. But it's some cool stuff in there, man, as well. Yeah, get in there and check all that stuff out. I'm telling you guys, if you're not switching over, or at least thinking about switching over to Mint Mobile, I got to ask you why, because this is the largest 5G network in the country. $45 for 3 months, unlimited talk, text, and data. Try mintmobile.com/HOF. That's mintmobile.com/HOF. You get to try it out at the same time. You can keep your service while you're trying it out for that 3 months. Same phone. You have a separate number. It's a digital eSIM card. You don't have to talk to a salesperson. None of that. Great deal. You test it out between the two services, see which one works better. And if it's worthy of it, then you make the switch permanently and save a lot of money, like I did. $1,600 for this year for the two phones that I pay for. It's way worth it to me. Get in there, check it out. You'll be glad that you did. Thanks a lot, guys, for checking all that stuff out. Yeah, the competitive depth shirt, like it. Yeah. Thank you, man. I've been screwing around with those designs for like a week. because they were talking about it on First Sports. They've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. That was the shirt that, and I've been asking you guys for a year to tell me what y'all want, you know? And then when Ryman Lemon was talking about it, I was like, yeah, I like that. But I've been screwing around with designs for a freaking week. Didn't know what to do with it. I found the right fonts, I think, with the tall, the depth. So the depth is tall letters. And then
I like that.
Behind it, because since we're drinking to competitive depth, have a sip. And then we always got the cool stuff with the horns down stuff. Got to figure out something else with some of that other stuff. But let's see. Hey, Ryman, don't be busting on Mint Mobile, dude. That's my sponsor. Come on. It helps the show. You save your money. With the like button. Hey, yeah, thank you, Coach Tricks. Make sure that's the free way to support the program. Make sure that you hit the like button, share us with your friends. People that like college football talk, this is the place to get it, man. Yeah, let's see. What else was I going to talk about? Yeah. Hey, man, that's what I'm talking about. The Hall of Fame desk mat. I just ordered one the other day, actually. And then so that's the cool thing, is that it's screwed. And I'm glad I went in there and looked, because I didn't realize that I had my old shop was through Stream Elements, and they still run, I run a lot of stuff through there, but it shut down my dang merch shop. So I'm in there and it set me up with this. It's called Fourth. What is it again? Yeah, it's Fourth something. Anyway, they got a lot more stuff in there that you can actually do. Like right now, I've only had enough time to like put up a few different designs, and I've been messing around with it. And then you have an actual website with this one that I can attach the website to my own website, which we have done that. Yeah. But I would say that I would tell you that there's a lot of other stuff. So they even have like yoga pants and stuff for women, and tank tops and different stuff like robes. I mean, I've even seen underwear on there. I haven't messed with any of the stuff to like put designs on underwear, but I might have to do something for old Ryman Lemon, since he's always got some stuff to say. So, but yeah, they did have the desk mat and everything on there. So it was kind of cool. There's some different stuff in there. I like it, but we can definitely do some different things. There's a lot of different products, man. There's a lot of different products that I'm looking into how we can kind of, the membership part of it. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but you can level that up. It says you can level that up as well on getting our memberships. That's another way to help the program as well. Become a channel member for as low as $3 a month. Get into our Discord. I'm trying to get a lot more active there as well for myself. I've been busy with some stuff, but I've been in there more lately and nobody else is in there. So I think that was definitely my fault, but I actually have a column coming out tomorrow.
All right.
A Nerf like football. Now,
salute.
See, I love this stuff.
I love that.
Yeah. So I have a column coming out tomorrow that I'm writing, and I want to do like a mailbag, guys. And so the more I've been kind of thinking about it is that, and I was thinking about this last night, really was like, okay, so man, we interact on the live streams. I interact with you guys as much as I can. I think that's been a big part of why our show has been popular with you guys, and I love interacting with all you guys. So to me, that's one of those things that you definitely. Oh man, and Neilio, thank you for the super chat, my man. I'm sorry I didn't get to that already. And then Coach Ricks also had one. Lee Riley was left a Ferrari. BV was left a car on the on blocks. Yeah, that's pretty much how it was. But anyway, I got to think, and I've been thinking about doing and we may still do this, but to where there's a phone line that you can call. If you've watched that SEC podcast, they'll take messages and then they can play it during it, and then they'll talk about it. I love getting, Bishop Frank last week gave me a couple of different ideas on stuff to put into the show. I love hearing from you folks that watch the show. What do you want to talk about? You guys know I'm not ever going to be that guy that's going to be chasing recruits around, and that's all I do. I'm not going to do that. I love college football on the whole. I pay attention to the recruits that Oklahoma's after, and the rest of the SEC's after, for that matter. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to be that dude that freaking watches every kid, every move, and all that. And the stuff that happened with the lineman yesterday, that tweet definitely read, and it was from an insider. I'm not going to say his name, but all I did was retweet it. But this quote insider was talking about Babalola committing, and was the commitment. That picture with him and Sperry, he called him a commitment to Oklahoma. That's why I retweeted that, but I shouldn't have put that part in there. I ended up erasing the tweet because apparently he hasn't committed yet. I think he is. It sounds like there's a pretty good shot to get him, though. Michael Fasusi's also still in play as well. I know everybody at Texas thinks that he's going to Texas.
Yeah, don't read the tea leaves. Don't read the tea leaves.
The brand. Can we talk more Lambos? Fasusi likes them. Yeah, here's for your brand.
The brand has finally returned. F your brand.
Thanks for the $10, though. But see, every time I do that, I have to give $1 to Onikuno.
Well, I guess I better give to the Normie fund then.
So the Normie funds, yeah. Hey guys, you can always hit the super chat as well, and help out that way. We're doing well on that. And guys, we are actually. I want to check real quick to make sure I'm right. Before we got in here, we were 13 away from 3,500 subs. We've jumped in the last month pretty well. I'd love to get to 4,000 by the time the season starts. We are now 9 away from 3,500 subs. So that means that we've added 4 just in the time we've been going, in about an hour and a half. I appreciate that.
Big salute.
If you have not already become a subscriber, please do become a subscriber. If you're a subscriber, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're a subscriber here, get over to the HOF Sooners page as well and become a subscriber there also. That way, when we do start doing all of our Sooner content there, you're already in, and it'll also help us as well. But yeah, guys, we've had 300 viewers in here, and we got 22 likes. So hit that like button. If you didn't wipe your feet. If you didn't wipe your feet, what's the matter with y'all? You come in here and not wipe. Benji, did you not wipe your feet, bro? Come on, man. Bro, Williams got into the portal because he already talked to BV. All UT did was increase his NIL. I'm not listening to you, bro. I'm not listening to you on that stuff. I know that they had built a relationship with him, though, over time, for sure. I'm not saying that didn't happen, because it did. Bishop Frank does not have a channel, but we may be doing some more stuff with Bishop Frank coming up in the future. We're going to talk to him about it. I like it when he comes on here. He's always all right. Thank you, Benji. I'll just be giving you a hard time, really. I like a lot of the stuff that he comes up with, and hey man, Bishop Frank's my man. So we may have him on a little bit more in these morning shows and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that. Was the cowpoke dude still in here? I haven't seen him back in here in a while. Let's see. Competitive depth. There we go. It's the title of Taylor Swift's new album. Describing her timing. Bro. Rhyming, dude, you're killing me, man. Hilarious, by the way. Yeah, man. Hey, Bishop Frank's my guy, man. He's always he'll be on. Rob 007. My man. What's up, man? Good to see you. One of the few Mizzou people that I can stomach. I like Rob. He's my boy. Like him, and then Richard Shear's okay too. Like him too. So those two guys, man, I really do appreciate all that. We've had a lot of new viewers in here lately, so that's I want to say thank you for that. We appreciate that. That's part of the reason I'm writing that column. But again, getting back to that, going to talk about a few things in that. It'll be out tomorrow. I'll post it on the community page. It'll be on my website, but I'll post the link on the community page so that you can go on there, take a look at it. It's going to be a blog post. but it'll be a column, and essentially I'm going to go through in some of the comments that we already have, and so kind of the column will be about some of the interactions that we're having. I don't know if I'm going to do it every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, but if I could get more engagement with you guys, which is the main reason I feel like that this channel has really gone to where it's gone. And I mean, this month, by the way, is in fact on, let's see, in 3 days will be exactly 2 years since we started the show. Me and Bryce started the show back then, but it'll be
Big
exactly
salute,
2 years. So yeah, thank you, man. We hope to continue going big, but I wanted to kind of do that, and I went through and I got a couple of different comments. So it's going to be about the stuff from last week, but you know, I'll get a little more out of it. And plus I want to just kind of introduce that to you, but I want to make it to where we're going to open up you can always hit me on Twitter anytime. And that could be a good way to do the mailbag. I've got a Facebook that you could do it on there as well. If you're an Instagram person, you can find me there as well. We got some different ways that you could do that, or we could do an email bag, possibly a phone call deal. But again, we already interact so well, and I think as a creator, and because I kind of took it to heart whenever some of the trainings, stuff like that you can get online about building your channel, was that you need to interact with people in the comment section. Well, I've got a busy comment section. I mean, you guys are great in here. Even after the live streams are over with, we get a lot of comments on the videos for people that didn't watch it live, and some that did. So it's always pretty good in there. So I don't know that we really have to make a big change there. But I think I'll go through, some of the major ones, and maybe we start doing it every week. But it could also be a live stream where we talk about some of those major comments or ones that we had a lot of interaction back and forth, because some of those comments, I'm not the only one going back and forth with people. It'll be other Oklahoma fans or other people from other programs or whatever that watch our show. That's the other thing is I love having guys like Neilio and Timothy and Benji talking trash all the time. Trojan Fight has been good coming in here lately. I mean, I love it that there's guys from other programs. You've got a bunch of the guys from the AAA fam, Coach Smook show, that come in and watch the show a lot.
Thanks.
I love it, man, because we like to talk college football all the way around, not just Oklahoma. I mean, yeah, hey, man, I'm partial to OU and the SEC. But
big salute, Rawhide. No doubt.
Yeah, man.
Dave's talk.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, David Talks Buffs. That's another one of my boys. And again, we go on a lot of other shows and talk. I mean, when you start talking Fan Addict, with Coach I and those guys, Shawty. Shout out to Shawty. I know I didn't really respond too much with it because we were in the middle of going toe to toe there with Cody Light. But shout out for coming in anyway. Cody Light talking all that smack. I'm gonna get on him later.
Coach I, Coach Roy.
Man, we appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like how it was us staying calm, trying to give us loving information to Cody about how things are better. He was hot, but I hope he finally calmed down to hear our side. Yeah, he didn't, but he'll hear more of it later. I promise. The one thing I'll tell you is I love Cody to death, man. He's my boy. But he's a freaking Oklahoma State fan. They struggle to be able to. And I'm kind of the same way. I hate Okie Light. I don't care. I think they're going to lose every game. That's all I got to say. It is what it is. He has a hard time believing in anything Oklahoma does. He hates OU. It is what it is. We're better off if we're not talking about OU and Oklahoma State when we talk. But I like his passion for Oklahoma State and what he does. I think he does a really good job on his channel. He's one of the few guys that I've seen take Gundy to task when it comes to any of their media people. They don't do it. They flat won't do it.
Yeah.
They're all afraid they're going to get the Jenny Carlson, treatment.
He definitely went left when you started, though.
He definitely went left today. He definitely went left. I didn't expect that. I was like,
I know, I could tell.
And I really only threw it to him just so because I didn't think he was going to do that. I mean, I didn't expect to really have that talk. We were going to talk Big 12. I wasn't. So when he went there, I was like, but you don't get to tell me that Lincoln was better. No.
And the funny thing is like he was just proving our point. So that's why I said I was just keeping the receipts, because it's like, where did he learn the faith-based part? Is when he got to Clemson and he got to stretch and grow. Hey,
what did you ask in the Discord there, Stink? Did I miss something? What did you ask, brother? Sorry about that.
and don't forget to drop your website. I didn't even know you had a website.
Still waiting for what?
Waiting for.
I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find whatever we're talking about here. There, Stink. I'm not trying to ignore you. There's a bunch of comments in here today.
No doubt. He said, "LOL."
Yes, I will take merch suggestions.
Oh yeah, I got some.
Yes, I will. Yeah, hey, give them to me. I'll take
I
them.
know. I got you. I'm just being funny.
What am I missing? What am I missing, Stink? About Legend Mike. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that in here. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't know what's up with it. I'll tell you, I don't know what's going on with them. I haven't talked to him.
Yeah.
But and
he's doing well.
I'm not going to talk. I think he's fine. I think he's fine.
Yeah, he's doing well. I mean,
yeah, Bishop Frank talks to him. I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's
and
going on.
Nothing but love. Nothing but love.
No, yeah, I'm good. I mean, we haven't talked, so I don't know.
Yeah, no. Hey. But this is what make the gumbo go good.
Yeah, is it? I guess I would ask you guys: is he not putting out content? Because I haven't seen anything. That's kind of weird to me that he's not. But anyway, all right. Yeah,
I got y'all. We're good. We're good.
Good. Talk about it with Coach with Bishop Frank in the. You can definitely talk about it with Bishop Frank in there, but or maybe you can, maybe you can't. But and he's definitely, if you're not a part of Jay and them's Discord as well, I'm pretty sure that Mike's in there still. He hadn't been on ours, so I don't know what's going on, but you can definitely probably get a hold of him there. On how to donate. Well, it doesn't have a cut taken for the Discord. Hey, actually, let me do that. I'll put them both. I'll put those in the description. In fact, they are in the description now.
Okay.
There's I've got Cash App and Venmo in there. They're both in the description. But my Cash App is just it's the money sign in HOF pod. HOF pod. Money sign HOF pod. So I'll put that in there right now.
And the website? I didn't catch that.
HOFmedia.us/ or it's just HOFmedia.us is the website. Yeah, I was saying /. So really, I usually add to the website. I'll add like the pod merch. You know, that's actually a different website, but I can connect my website to it so that you can always remember it. I haven't been able to do that with MAELREG yet for whatever reason, but you can. I've been able to do it with the rest of them. And TriMint Mobile didn't want me doing that either, and because for whatever they're doing with their stuff. But yeah, if you do, it's the money sign HOF pod. So let me put that in there real quick. But it's definitely it's also in the description. I always put it in the description. So Venmo and I prefer Cash App, but you can use Venmo as well. And I believe it's, let me just make sure because I haven't looked at it in a while.
And don't forget chat.
What's that?
It said, don't forget Normie's NIL fund.
Hey, the NIL fund. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Well, you can do that through Venmo. It's at HOF-pod on Venmo.
There you go.
At HOF-pod on Venmo. So
put all your fishing poles in the water.
That's right. And you're right. Actually, now that you guys have brought that up, because they do take, I want to say it's almost half of the donations from YouTube. I don't know that that's exactly right. I've heard other creators say that it's a larger amount.
Okay.
With Venmo and Cash App, they don't get any of it. And I can set it, and I always get, and the thing is that if you do a super chat or something like that, I'll give you a super chat or whatever you want to do. But you can, when you send something through Cash App or whatever, you can send me a message at the same time that you send that donation. So if you do that, you send a message, it's something that you want to bring up, I'll get it right here, you know, in real time, and I can bring it up and we'll talk about it. So I'll definitely throw all that stuff up there. But yeah, man, it's actually something that I've been meaning to kind of bring up, but I just forgot. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. 40 to 60%. See, look at there. Yeah. Curious chat. How much do y'all donate to OU NIL? Hey, man. Listen, hey, man, I appreciate that. Stink ass cut. That's my dude. I appreciate you guys. Man, Chicken. Appreciate you, man. You out of here? You still on the road, right? Be safe out there. I'll hit you up a little bit later. Man, I was sleeping when you called me yesterday, but that was a funny message. Wish I was fishing right now. Who's fishing? Who's fishing?
Man. Catfish.
Norm hasn't made it on this morning, man. The column, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm going to try to bring him in a little bit more. But man, having him in here is like putting a bull in a china closet. It really is. He was eating metal the other day. He literally was eating metal when he was in here the other day. And he's 130 pounds of pain in my ass when it comes to the studio. I love the dog, but man, he's rough sometimes. He's just a big dude, man. And if you take your eye off of him for a second, I promise you he's going to tear something up. In the studio, it concerns me a little bit. So anyway, but I'll probably have him in. I'll probably bring him in for tomorrow night show. I can do it for tomorrow night show. I'll bring him in there. I donate 50 to the Texas one and 25 separately to burn-ins. Yeah, so I had been doing the Oklahoma Crimson and Cream the last year. It sounds like this one Oklahoma thing is going to kind of change things. I don't know if Crimson and Cream is involved in it. Again, I need to look into all this new stuff with the NIL deal.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of exciting to hear about the way that they're doing things and to listen to what Coop was saying earlier in the Discord. He was talking a lot. He feels like it's going to streamline it and be good for the university and good for the program.
Awesome.
Again, if that's the case, I'm good. I'm happy to hear it. My only thing is I want to make sure that these kids are getting taken care of. And I'm not saying that OU's not going to. I think they will. But I don't know, man. I just don't trust the NCAA. I don't trust a lot of organizations that say that they're out there for the good of the athletes. I don't necessarily think that they are. So it is what it is. Yeah. Unloading. Keep on trucking there, chicken. Oh, let's see. All right, guys. Let's see. I fish on Texas Dyke in Texas City once every 2 weeks. Too hot right now. Oh, bro, it's brutal down there in Texas City, Houston. Woo! Is there pretty good fishing out there? That's where the refineries are at, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Eating metal. Yeah, dude, he's a knucklehead. He's a big old monster. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that because they just hired in a softball great of all time to kind of help run the NIL. So I felt like it didn't seem like they would go away from Crimson and Cream completely, but that sounds about right. I could see that, Benji. Appreciate it.
I think they're connecting it to really. If you think about it.
Yeah, so usually terrific fishing. Cool. That's cool. Don't worry about the stuff they put in the water out there, huh? I don't know, bro. But, you know, I got a buddy that lives in San Antonio, and he does a lot of fishing. I think he does a little bit some out there as well, but he goes to around Corpus a lot as well. So he's got a boat, and then he does some lake fishing as well. But they do go out on the ocean. So I like that, man. I love to fish, man. It's been a while since I've had time to do it, but I love to fish and play golf and stuff. So I'm hoping that I get to do a lot more of that. Look, man, and I'm UT NIL going in-house. I think a lot of them are. I think with the way that you're seeing things and with all this stuff, now that you're doing a pay-for-play, an actual pay-for-play model, it makes sense that they would go in-house. Now, apparently, Oklahoma is the trailblazer, first one to do it. It doesn't mean that everybody else wasn't kind of looking at the same thing, but I think that tells you that they've been taking a step forward for a while now. In that question about whether they were going to play the NIL game for real or not, I think it's been answered over the last year for sure, right? I think it's just been one of them deals. Yeah. Hey, it's pretty reasonable, isn't it, Benji, to go deep sea off of Galveston? I went once with my grandpa. It's been a long time, but we went out there. It's been probably 20 years, but it didn't feel like it was as expensive as like whenever I did it in California, which was pretty wild. Even those little day boats were crazy. Did a 9-mile float trip yesterday on the Illinois River. By mile 6, I was ready to die. A hot sucker out there. I bet. Dang, I can only imagine. Hankster, where's Hank going? Wait until November so I can go trout fishing at the Blue. Yeah, I like that too. Yeesh. Yeah, that's pretty pricey, bro. For a day trip, it's $2,800, group of 6. Okay, I guess it kind of depends on what you kind of get with that. I mean, if they take care of everything, that's cool. And we used to do, whenever I was living in Vegas still, we would go down below Hoover Dam, and they had a fish hatchery that they were releasing rainbow trout and stuff. It'd be some striped bass that would get between 25 and like 40 freaking pounds because they eat so well when they release all those fish. I mean, they're just voracious eaters. So those striped bass they get big. You want to talk about getting a fight on your hands, Bishop Frank? Tie into a 25-pound striper. Holy crap. It was fun.
Man.
It was fun. That's a fun fishing. Fun fishing. Really cool. All right, guys. Well, we've been going for about 2 hours. I appreciate everybody coming in here. Bishop Frank, I thank you for coming in, man, and talking it up. We'll get together here in the next couple of days for sure. I'll have that. I'm almost done with that column now, so it'll be out at the worst in the morning, and then we obviously go live tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern time right here on Hall of Fame College Football HOF at CFB-pod right here on YouTube. You can also catch us on Twitter as well. It's at JW_HOF there. Yeah, man, check us out. Share us with your friends. We appreciate everybody for coming in. And yeah, man, I like this fishing talk too, man. We can get into some of that.
Yeah, no doubt.
About some of the things coming up,
some
man.
Blue cat.
Oh man, dude, I love fishing, man. I can't wait to get out there to Oklahoma again and kind of get into some more of that kind of stuff as well. But a lot of things coming up, man. We've got some ideas of some stuff we're gonna do.
Yeah.
The Auburn. We need to get a group of people that head out for the Auburn game. First road trip in the SEC. We're going to try to do a game day show from there. We're definitely going to have a game day type show coming up anyway for every weekend, but we're going to try to do a little something because that's Coach I and them, Shawty, maybe at the Alabama-Georgia game. Same day. Oklahoma plays in the morning time. They're at night.
They're at night, yeah.
So I don't know how easy it'll be to get from one place to the other with the traffic out there, but I don't think it's that far. I think it's a matter of traffic. So, but we're definitely going to do a show and trying to put some sponsorships together and stuff like that to kind of do some more traveling over the next few years. We're excited about the direction we're headed in. So I think that will help with some of the column stuff. But when you got questions and stuff like that, man, throw them in the comment section. Throw them to me on Twitter, anything like that. Subjects you guys want to talk about, let's do that. You know.
And big salute to you, Jason,
hey, man,
for standing 10 toes down. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Hey, Coach Ricks, I will definitely do that too. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. And I thank you guys for all the support. I didn't think I'd have freaking 10 people watch my show when we started this channel. We've got almost 3,500 subscribers now. It's a dream. I love doing this. And yeah, man, it's exciting. And I appreciate all you guys. I love putting in the work because it's not really work whenever it's something that you enjoy like this. And I love talking ball. So yeah. And I'm excited, man. Season's almost here. Season's almost here. Guys, make sure you hit that like.
NCAA, you guys go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it.
That's another good thing.
Serving up softballs here. You better be hitting them out
we can
the
do
park.
some fun stuff. We can do some fun stuff with that.
Yeah.
If you guys are getting ready to get that game, let's talk about that and maybe putting a league together. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. Throw them horns down. We'll see you on the next one.
Boomer.